Hey everybody, you're now listening to Cup of Queens with Paige and Saray, and today we're so excited to talk with Heather, who started Chaos and Cookies after a variety of events led her to understand that she can't be dependent on others. With that, she realized organization would be essential in keeping life moving for her and her family. Heather talks with us about ways to keep your household functioning at a high level of effectiveness, both in time saving and organization. Heather's tips and tricks are not only simple, but practical to implement in your everyday life. So grab your cup and enjoy.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. So sorry. I got the email and I tried like 3 different links.
No problem.
Zoom always has a way of just not being consistent, making it hard for people.
Never. I mean, it's insane. And I appreciate you guys pushing back. I got stuck at an eye doctor appointment.
Oh, that's the worst. No problem.
Yeah. No. And I was like, it's like I got my kids and I'm like just struggling. So I appreciate you guys pushing back. Thank you.
Well, and that's what we want to talk with you about today is all of the ways in which you have helped women, moms organize their life and be able to capitalize on the most of their time. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of all that we know. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started this.
Sure. So I dabble in organization and time management and kind of juggling everything with lots of stuff going on with little time. And so I help clients focus on what they need and finding time to really carve out like power hour or really understand like what they can take on and what they can't. So I also have a chaos control system. And so I started that and it's coming out and it's new. I'm going through a divorce. It was a very abusive relationship. I'm now a single parent, 3 kids, lots of crazy stuff. And so I created a plan in order to be as prepared as possible. So if someone needed to leave a situation, they wouldn't feel like they had to depend on someone else. Or if maybe their spouse did get hurt or injured or, heart attack, they would be prepared to be able to take it on as well, or bring someone in to help us, to take the stress on. So there's a lot of different parts to that. So just being as self-sufficient as you possibly can and preparing for the worst and hoping for the best.
That's really great. And
really incredible.
Also, kudos to you for handling all of that and coming out on the other end stronger and braver and as just a great support system for your kids. So
yes, it's this year will be the year where we're, working through it. As soon as it's finished, I'll be able to start talking about like the real reason why Chaos and Cookies is really what it is. But for now, it's kind of, on lockdown. But I mean, for me personally, I just had to always be prepared for very unpredictable situations. And so being able to handle those situations or making the decisions, because I was home alone a lot. My soon-to-be ex he traveled all the time. So I had to make I have to know how to like change the air filters and, plumbing and things that come up that moms should know either a way to do it on their own or when it's time to call a plumber or wait for their spouse to get home. So just having some knowledge about their home and running it like a business is very important.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so what has been the area where maybe you have helped women, moms, individuals navigate through really stressful situations? Do you have any examples?
So there's a couple of things I've learned. I've taught them how to be more multitask. Like I fold my laundry while I wait for my kids in the carpool. I have to sit in one spot at home. Might as well just do it in my car. Fold laundry for the 45 minutes because you can't get out of the car now because COVID. And so now I fold that. So then when I get home, I like hand it to my kids. They go off and it's like, all right, go put it away. There's simple skills like, there's like shoe organizers that like hang from the rack. You could do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, put all the clothes for the week for your kids. So then when they get up in the morning, they can go and grab it. So mom can have like an extra 10 minutes and not argue with them about what needs to be worn, because guess what? It's already there. They already know what to do. And you don't have to be like, why are you wearing that? It's 50 degrees outside, things like that. So it frees them up. It makes them more proactive than reactive. So tools of that nature, just thinking a little bit outside of the box to make things work for them.
Yeah. That is,
or like the cooking thing.
I was gonna say, can I do that myself? Yeah, I need to start planning my outfits like that.
I mean, you could just grab it and go. And so it's like, if you have like crazy sock day on Wednesday, you put the crazy socks in the Wednesday. So then they're not the kid that shows up to school without it. Those things come up. Like I have very young kids. Also, like when you're cooking, if you go and grab all the things at the grocery store, you get the one onion and the one thing and here, and then it's floating around the drawer. Well, if you have like little containers like in your fridge, you can, and just group, like you need a whisk, you need a potato peeler, you need the seasoning, you need this, you put it all in like a bin, you put it in the fridge. And so when you go to cook it, you just pull the bin out, it's all there. So then you're not going around the kitchen for 20 minutes, grabbing this, grabbing that. Oh, crap, I'm out of this. Like I didn't check. And so it's all right there. So then you just cook. So it takes you 20 minutes instead of like 40. So just ways to get proactive and prepare yourself in simple ways.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are different tips and tricks that you've, read about or learned throughout the years? What are those different resources that you utilize for your clients?
So I really harp on timers. Like I have and it's like a physical timer. It's not like on your phone that you could just push snooze. So I have like an hourglass. And so I'll turn that. And so I have 2 of them and they're 10 minutes a piece. And so if I like go on social, I'll flip it. I'll, keep that. So then when it's out, it's out. And so it's a physical reminder. It's right there. It's not something you can kind of just easily snooze because you're already on your phone. And just utilizing tools like that to keep yourself accountable. Create those do not disturb lists where it's like, I'm only going to check my email at like 9, 12, and 3, and just keeping to time blocking and scheduling and making sure that you're keeping those appointments, like a doctor's appointment, even like if it's just yoga for yourself or marking it off, stop pushing it off. But it's also very important that moms show their kids that if they're working hard for something and modeling that behavior, but also showing a little bit of flexibility and leeway in case something happens where it's like, okay, I can give this up and then I can do it tomorrow. And just knowing which things can wait and which things should just be done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine, all these tips that you're giving are things that you probably turn into habits where I know I'm going to plan out the outfits, in the bins every Sunday. So with that being said, give us a day. What does a day from morning to night look like for you? And kind of walk us through maybe some of those areas where you save time on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. So I'm very regimented.
Yeah.
I feel like kids need to be very regimented as well. They really like to understand what's coming next, because life is so unpredictable already. So if they can predict at least the small things, it's so much easier. So like at nighttime, we'll do bedtime. I'll go from like each room at the same, 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. We do our thing. We read, we go to bed. I do the script. They all say 1 more minute. I come back in. I do 1 more minute. Then I leave. That's it. So I'll do lunches at night. So I'll have everything packed. It'll be in the fridge. So then when the kids get up in the morning, all of them have alarms that are set for 6:15 in the morning. And so when their alarm goes off, they know to get out. They need to get up, get dressed. I have tried checklists where they can actually physically check off, like brush teeth check, get dressed check. It's very, it's something that they can participate in and have accountability with. And then they'll go through it. It keeps them accountable, lets me get up, I'll work out and be ready for the day. Come in, we'll make sure, and if I need to prepare breakfast, I'll do it the night before. So it's laying out so that I'm already ahead. And then after morning routine, we'll go to school. And then after school, I'll come home and I'll either work out if I didn't get it in before, or I'll come home and I'll start doing, chores around the house. I'll keep my house very clean. I'll look at my calendar. It's all color coded. Everything is color coded. I'll look at my calendar. It looks like a rainbow.
Do you use a certain calendar? We love that kind of stuff. So I just am curious.
Yes. So I have two. So Google Calendar is great. And then Cozy.
Yeah.
COZI. Right?
That. Yeah.
Everything is color coded. Each kid has a color. I have a color. You can share it with people. Like my nanny has a copy, and so she can put her stuff in. And then I also have like a whiteboard, and everything's on there too. And it's the same color as it is on my calendar. So if the kids see green, or if my daughter sees purple, she'll know that there's something that day for her. Yeah. She might not be able to read it, but she can see it. And so, we got something that day. Or I could just take a quick glance and be like, we've got a bunch going on for these 3 kids. Yeah. So color coding is huge, and time blocking, and just, I'm a big planner. I'm a planner. I am. And so throughout the day, I set my alarm for 2:30, which I know that means I have to go get the kids to school. If I'm not picking them up, at least I know what time it is. So then I can plan when they're going to come home. I usually try to have dinner ready and or planned. And then they come home, we do our homework, and we go right into bath, and then they have dinner, and then we kind of start winding down 7:00 every day. Yeah. So I like to be done by 8. Like I try to set a goal for me, like 8:15, because that's my time. Yeah. Like I don't care if you want to stay up and read in your room, but I'm done.
We're not, we're done here. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you're doing it on your own. Yeah. I mean, I have a nanny, so she helps me, but like as a parent, like you're only spread so thin. And so you really have to just it's super hard to be like mom and dad. So it's like, mommy's done. Like I got to go feed 3 dogs and let them out and go clean up after them too. And then mommy needs to go to bed and be okay for tomorrow and start the next day. So really also talking through that with them as well.
Yeah. So how do you find the motivation to continue to stay consistent on, I guess, your own organizational habits?
So I like to know where things are. It drives me crazy. I don't like clutter. I can do clutter behind like a closed door. Like if it's behind a closet, I'm like, I don't care how messy it looks. Like if I don't have to look at it, but if I have to look at it, I cannot deal. Yeah. So I found that it's time consuming to get things organized, because you have to be really like, do I want it here? Do I want it there? How do I want it? What kind of bin do I want to use? But once it's organized, it's very easy to keep up with, in my opinion, because when something's out of place, like when I go into a drawer and I'm like looking for something, I'm like yesterday, actually, I went to go and make a peanut butter sandwich, and we have a brand new nanny, and she put the bread in a different place. It's not in the bread section. And I have a bread section in my pantry. Everything's very labeled, clear containers. It's very easy to know where it goes. And I was like, how am I out of bread? I would have bought some. There's none in my back stock. This morning I found it, and I was like, oh, she had put it in like a different bin. And I was like, no, it goes right here. Now I feel better. I'm not crazy. I knew I had bread, but like when you put it there, you just don't know. So there's a place for everything. So it's very easy to either pick things out that are not in place or keep things going. And so once it's organized and it's the way you like it, it's very important to maintain it, because it just brings you a sense, I think for me, it like brings me a sense of peace. Like it's nothing like walking into the pantry and seeing all the snacks like stacked nicely, like the applesauce pouch bin, like fully stocked, and it's like, okay, it's good. So then also the kids know like this is our section and we can get this, and I can also visually see that I need to refill it, or so I take everything out of containers, in the pantry. Like I take everything out of boxes, and I'll line them up even on like on the shelf, because it's a visual thing.
Yes.
because it's a visual reminder. Because isn't it the worst when you go in somewhere and you're like, oh, great, we still have it, and the box is empty because someone was lazy and didn't want to like toss the box away.
All the
I'm
time.
like, we forgot to throw that away because that's bad.
Right. So you take everything out of the box. So then there's no boxes. So then when you run out, like you can see that you're running out.
That's such a simple.
I need to start doing the bins, like the clear. I know, but
it's hard.
Speaking of bins, and you mentioned your planners and even like the shoe rack, these different things that you utilize. Are there any other cool gadgets or tools that not only help you stay organized, but also excite you to stay organized? I feel like I need some fun stuff like that in order to get excited to organize. So what other tools or gadgets do you use that you find actually helpful?
So I really like I said, the shoe rack you could use this for shoes too. I really like functional organization, like the cubes and things. And the key to organizing your home and keeping it to where, if we have kids, there's toys everywhere, right? Or there's storage of some sort. And so if you have kids like me, like I have little ones, and so they're bringing toys all over the place. And so I really like functional storage, but it's also where you put it. So it's very important to put it in the entrance of any room, except for maybe your bedroom or kitchen or wherever you don't want toys. So say like you have a game room or an office, you put one of those ottomans or maybe those, cube, storage shelves. You'll put it against the wall by a door for two reasons. One, when you have guests, right? You want that Instagram look. You want that beautiful, look at, it's very neat and tidy.
Yeah.
So the storage will hide the mess. But when you walk into the room, it's behind you. So no one's seeing the kid stuff or whatever storage you have, right? So that's one reason. You walk in, you see it. The second reason is if they were to take out toys or games, or if you have a bunch of blankets, when you're picking it up, when you're walking out of the room, it's right there. So you're not going back and forth. It's very easy for you to, hey, grab that toy and walk out, put it away on the way out. So they're not taking an extra trip or deviation, because kids, you give them 2, God forbid, 3 steps, it's like you're repeating yourself 16 times. And so it's all right, grab that, put it away, go out the door. So it's also more efficient. And so it's about placement, because I have 3 kids. If you walked into my house, you would know I would have kids because I have drawings and things, but there's not toys everywhere because I can't stand it. It's I cannot look at them. It's either in a storage unit somewhere, in the space, or I'll keep a main bin in my kitchen. And listen, they'll bring stuff out. They'll leave it. They left 2 Spider-Man dolls this morning. I'm really? In a water bottle. It's did we need that before school? No. Will you go put that away? Well, we're going to be late, so I'll just take care of it. So I'll take things throughout the day while I'm home and put it in the main bin in the main space. And so at the end of the day, check the bin, guys, because that's your stuff. And so it needs to be empty. And so they'll go in there and take whatever I've collected throughout the day that they've left behind. They will go put it away, not me, but it's at least not scattered all over the place waiting for them to get home.
That is genius.
That's a really good idea.
That is so simple.
It keeps them accountable. So you're not cleaning up after them, where you're putting it away for them, but you're cleaning it up for your sanity, and you're putting it in one, I would say consolidating it in one space.
Yeah.
Kind of like that dining room table that you pour all your crap on, right? Well, instead of that, you just have a bin. And it's there. And then it's guys, check the bin before you go to bed. Because guess what? Whatever's left in the bin is mine.
Going in the garbage, or it's going to my room. Yeah. That's a great way to put it.
Or even I even say toy purgatory too. So do you have little kids?
No, neither of us.
None of you guys have kids. Well, this is something that you guys can practice later. So or maybe nieces and nephews. So typically when you have toys or things that they love, but then they haven't played with it in 6 months. 6 months is the good rule. Typically, if you're cleaning it out in front of them, they're oh, they have a newfound love for it.
Yes.
Like the rattle, the baby rattle that they don't need because they're 8. Like you're not 8 months old. So things like that. If there's toys out there that you think they're going to miss, like I have a son, he remembers everything. He loves everything. So I can't get rid of anything. But if I think that he might be over it, I'll put it in like toy purgatory is what it's called. So I'll put it like away. And if he doesn't mention it within 6 months, it's gone. Nice. And if he does, like, oh, I can't find my bunny, and I know the bunny is in purgatory, I'll be like, oh, buddy, like, we'll go look for it. And then you're the hero. You find the bunny miraculously in toy purgatory. You pull it out. And it's like, good. I'm glad I didn't get rid of that because he still loves it. And so then, so that it was a good keep. Yeah. So kind of cycling through those, because kids just, there's so much stuff between birthday parties and Christmas and everything. There's so much. It's like you can't. And sometimes this is a secret. They don't know this. If they get gifted things and I know that they won't open it, I'll keep it. And I'll like regift it later. Or it'll just appear one day like, surprise, like, look what mommy got you. And they don't know. I mean, I think I have a game of Twister that's been sitting in the closet for 2 years and they've never opened it.
Oh, yeah.
One day they'll want it and I won't have to go pay for it. Keeping things like that, or cycling through toys, because they get bored. And then if you bring it back later, they'll have a newfound love and then you don't have to buy again.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Wow. Smart. I'm going to need to listen to this in maybe like a couple years. Yes. This is good for especially our listeners who do have kids. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they feel that. But being that you are a mom and it sounds like have probably navigated the system very well. I'm sure there's been times where you haven't navigated it perfectly. I know mothers that it just doesn't go that way. So we do have a segment on our show called As You Shouldn't, where we want to hear from our guests a time that you did something that maybe you shouldn't have, but you learned from it. Yeah.
Oh, lots of times. I was asked this once. It was like, what's something that you've done that you wouldn't have told anybody before? And I've totally taken things out of the top of the trash and like put it back because it didn't touch anything. It was a mistake, something like that. And you just were like, it's fine. 5 seconds. It's fine. Or like when you're using the bread slicer and you don't wash it off, you just wipe it on your shirt and put it right back in the thing, right? I mean, we all do those types of things. But I would say when it comes to like what I should or should not have done, that's tough because parenting is such a learning experience. Mm-hmm. Every child is different. And so what I would do with one, I wouldn't do with the other. So I guess what I have learned is honesty is the best way for kids to learn and understand. Mm-hmm. Because the situation that I'm in right now, my 8-year-old is not stupid. They are kids. They aren't privy to adult things, but they're not stupid. They watch everything we do. So you really can't fool them. So I have learned, one time I had told him like this just convoluted thing, and it sounded a little bizarre. And I thought it was a good idea to just tell him about a situation in a kid-like manner, and he wasn't buying it. And so this time around, it happened a few weeks ago. I had to explain a very adult situation to him, and I was very honest with him, and he completely understood it to the point where he was like, okay. Like he was very upset about something that was taking a long time. And I had to explain to him, like, there's a lot of adults involved. It can take a while. Sometimes things just don't go the way that we think they are. And we have to be patient, but this is why. And I explained it to him in a very PG way. And he accepted my answer so well that I felt like if I were to have just sugarcoated it and like swept it under the rug and try to make him, understand it in a different way, he would have not trusted me. He would have sniffed it out. He would have been confused. And me being very honest has really helped the situation. Now, obviously, you leave out details, but you keep it very basic and it helps them trust you. And they're like, okay. And they can kind of accept it a little bit more. So I've learned that not to lie or to sugarcoat things. If you can do it in a way of honesty, that's appropriate.
Definitely.
That's a really good answer.
Yeah,
totally.
absolutely.
If that makes sense. I
No,
mean,
it does.
Totally.
you know, it's very difficult. Like going through a divorce, there's a lot of moving parts. And when there's a lot of big adult issues, they just want to be kids. And so trying to keep them as kids as much as you can while navigating such a complicated situation that I'm in, they don't understand. Like, I don't want them to think that I'm doing it or that I'm, you know, keeping them from something. So I try to explain, like, it's out of everyone's control. Like, I understand you're frustrated and that you're feeling this way, and I feel frustrated. That is life. And so we're just going to have to work through it. And so just to be like, keeping that line of communication open is so much better than just being like, hey, like, it's an adult thing. Don't worry about it. Go on about your day. It feels very dismissive, and then they aren't being acknowledged. And so I've learned that throughout. I think that also is with adults too.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. Everyone wants honesty. That's the best policy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we also have a really fun game, which we did send you, but it's fun because we were like coming up with different scenarios and we're like, okay, I would really love an answer for this or for this. So we're going to give you like 5 different scenarios. And we would love if you could give us some tips and tricks on how people could stay organized and on task for each of these.
Ooh. All right, here we go.
So this one for me, I struggle with a little bit, maybe a little bit. So a cluttered car.
Ooh. Okay. Couple things. Laundry baskets do wonders. Okay. So if you grab those like collapsible laundry baskets that flatten, keep them in your trunk. And so I like to put groceries in there. It keeps them from sliding around. The worst thing is when you like open up your trunk and like the milk falls out, or you're hoping and praying it doesn't fall out from like the side, like your side door when you shove it in the back seat.
Yeah.
So putting like some sort of container in your trunk. Also, I like a lot of those like mesh bags, and I label a lot of things. So keeping like your registration and things like in your glove compartment, but keeping very organized with like in the trunk, or keeping big spaces open where you can throw things in. So also like when you take your groceries, you can just grab the basket and take it inside. You're not grabbing every bag
And
taking it inside. If you're in Austin, they don't have bags. They don't, you have to bring your own bags or purchase bags here in Austin. So it's much better just to put the groceries in the laundry basket and just take them inside and then unload there and then bring the basket back.
That is
genius.
Yeah. I'm literally going to do that the amount of times that I carry in. Like, I refuse to make 2 trips, and it's so
me too. And you cut up the circulation of your arm because you got 16 bags on your arm. Like, oh my God, so heavy, don't break.
Just laundry basket. That's all needed.
Just grab the collapsible ones. You can get them at Target.
Amazon.
Yeah. And you can stack multiple, and then you pull them up and you put them everything. It could even be like when you're loading cars, like at a volunteer, or some like your kids stuff, like backpacks and things, like shoving in all that stuff, or sports gear.
Totally.
Yeah.
Boom. Right there. Laundry baskets are the way to go.
All right. You aced that one.
Okay, good.
Okay. Next one. You're working from home, but the kids are home sick with you. I know a lot of people working from home now, and that scenario now comes up. So now how do you navigate staying organized while also parenting at the same time?
So I did a color coding system because my kids at the time, when they were virtual learning for COVID and things, I still had podcasts. I was on, Zoom calls. So having like a sign system, whether that be a color, like a red means do not come in. Mommy's busy, because maybe they can't read.
Yeah.
Because stay out doesn't, they don't understand what that means, right? Or the stop sign. So having some sort of coloring system where it's like green means it's okay for you to come in, or red means no, like mommy's busy, come back in a minute. Or even if you have it on your desk, it's like a visual symbol for them where you're not having to tell them something, and also just explaining it to them that way. And I would also say to carve out some time to check in with the kids, knowing like, everyone has control over their schedule somewhat.
Mhm.
And if you are honest with your boss or your clients, like, hey, my kids are sick, I can only do 45 minutes. I have another meeting in 15 minutes and I need to take that time. You just need to shorten it a little bit, set the expectation, because you also don't want to do business with people that don't agree with your morals and your values. So like when I walk into a meeting, I keep my phone on. I say, hey, listen, I'm going to put my phone on the table. If it rings, it's my kids. I will have to take it. But I'm not trying to be disrespectful that my phone is here. I am here present, but you set the expectation ahead of time. And same thing with the kids. Like they have to understand that because you're homesick doesn't mean that mommy doesn't work. Right. Like when they had half days or like a day off of school, I would explain like, this is still a work day for mom. So just because you're home doesn't mean mommy doesn't work. Like we work when you're gone. We still work when you're here. So just explaining it to them a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What about, so you have a big presentation tomorrow, but you still have to fit in a workout.
Okay. So I will either, if I have to prepare, I'll either do I work from home. I work out in my closet. I'll either work out while listening to something that I need to prepare for, or I'll work out and I can have like a laptop. Everyone has a phone and a laptop or an iPad or something, right? So I'll put one on one piece of thing and one on another. Like one time I worked out, but I also need to listen to a conference. So I had the workout on silent, following along while I listened to the presentation. So I was listening and working out at the same time. So I was able to multitask. So if I have to prepare for something or I need to get on a meeting, but I maybe just have to listen to something, I'll listen to that and then work out visually.
Yeah. That is like multitasking to the max.
I've done it.
Yes. I will try. I'm a little afraid of it.
Well, if you have for instance, my workouts are all video. Like I watch as I do. I don't necessarily need to hear her.
Yeah.
I can maybe look at it ahead of time. I'll look at the workout like written out, like, okay, it's 3 sets of this and that. So when I'm watching the move, I know how many I need to do or roughly. And so I can follow without being super ingrained while being in tune with whatever I need to prepare for.
Yeah. Genius. These are all such good tips. And I know that all of our listeners are going to want to hear from you more. Yeah. So tell us where they can connect with you, how they can follow along, learn more of your tips and tricks. Give us all of the details that we can link.
Sure. So lots of places, mainly Instagram. I live on Instagram. I teach my clients how to use Instagram quickly and efficiently, like the keyboard like task. I don't know if you guys know this. So if you're an Instagram person, here's a quick tip for Instagrammers or if it's an Apple phone, I apologize for any Android users. It is in the Android. There is a way to do it. I'm just going to tell you the Apple way. If you go into your settings, go to general keyboard and go to text replacement, you can go and make phrases. And so the shortcut can be like minor, middle, major, food, workout, whatever hashtags that you like to use for social, right? We probably typically use the same ones. Yeah. So like if I put chaos, I could spit out all of like my brand specific ones, right? That I'll always use. So if you put the phrase, all the things, so there's no typos, you're not typing out 30 hashtags, you put them all in your phrases, and then the shortcut will just be a quick little, like Chaos Club for me is CC. I can just type CC, it'll come up and I can click it and it spits it all out. Quick and easy way to spit out hashtags or any type of phrase in your keyboard text replacement.
Wow.
Nice. So I teach those types of things, like how to like post quick, I do a lot of how-to demos. So at the Heather Greco or at Chaos and Cookies, either handle. One has more Instagram tips and reels and funny stuff for moms and business owners. And the other one is organization. mom, being more organized and scheduling. And so I also have a podcast, Chaos and Cookies podcast, lots of different books that you can read. It's all for moms and business owners. It's very well rounded. And I'm on Facebook. So, and chaosandcookies.com.
Yay. Well, we'll link all that. I love that. I'm excited to share more stuff throughout the week for your episodes so people can connect and learn more.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much
for all of this good insight. Like we said, we'll be sharing all the links. Send us anything that we can share with our followers and listeners throughout the week of your episode, because I want the tips selfishly.
Yeah.
Oh, good. No, I have like pretty good ones, pretty good hacks. They're quick and easy. They're simple tricks, like the big Costco rice bags. Like if you cut a V into it, you can tie it in a knot so that it doesn't go bad. Because, ways to save money and time. And it's simple stuff like how to, even just like how to fasten a chip bag without a chip clip. I mean, it's so simple silly
and so needed.
Yeah. Right. Just little stupid stuff like that people love. Or putting game boards. Like, there's a TikTok or like a reel on there. I use the big mesh Amazon bags and I cut the label off of the box of the game board and I tape it on the side of the bag. I put all the game pieces in the mesh bags and then I put it in like one of those cubes. It saves so much space than just all the like game board boxes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you save some space. So stuff like that you can find anywhere.
I need it all.
Here's the 2022.
Yes.
Be more organized.
Gotta be more organized. But seriously, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it and can't wait for everyone to hear this.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.